1, 2, 3, clap. Nice.
Yeah, that was really
okay,
good.
first try, yeah. it's like you work in lighting designing or something. Or oh crap, what did you do when you were a PA?
Clapboard?
Sound engineering? Or
When I was PA.
I guess you were
I've never PA'd.
you never PA'd?
Well, wait, no, wait, hold on. Yes, I have PA'd. I did clapboard.
That was a clapboard.
You know, the, scene 2, take 1.
Action.
Well, I don't do the action part, but yeah, and I kept note of the takes.
This can be edited out or whatever, but I think I want to start off with a hug.
Alright.
You're chugging your coffee.
I am. Okay.
You feel awkward yet?
No.
Okay, it's gonna be a long one. Can you breathe in with me?
Okay. I do not feel awkward.
Good. That's gonna probably be edited out. So we can...
No, I know you need it.
How dare you?
What? No, like it's. I know that's a thing that helps you.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people. I just have my own way of getting ready for a shoot, which is chugging coffee.
She's like, I hugged you.
No,
because I knew you
didn't
needed
mean
it.
to be like that. Sorry, my condescending nature's coming out.
Guys, Sarah's condescending. No, I'm kidding.
At least I recognize it.
Are you saying I don't? Or are you saying other people don't?
No, I mean like, yeah, no. Some people who are condescending say they aren't. But at least I know sometimes I sound like that.
It almost sounded like you're throwing shade at me. You're like, at least I recognize it.
No, I'm throwing shade at the people that don't recognize it. Yeah. And they're like, no, I'm the nicest person on earth. I'm like, no.
Gumi, I guess listens to some podcasts and they start off with non sequiturs. And his was talking about how people always say like, you need to watch this. And he's like, why don't you just say, I really highly I really like this. I think you would like this too. Instead of saying, you need to watch this. And so that was our non sequitur, I guess.
Is it like the cold open in like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something?
Yeah. Oh my god, my back is killing me.
Here's a non sequitur. It's good that you breathe in deeply because it pops open your alveoli.
Yeah, Miss Nurse.
Yeah. Look, my segue.
Everyone, she's a nurse.
I'm not a nurse yet. I'm in nursing school.
Nursing school.
my HEB, not sponsored. My great value dream education comes in useful.
Okay, well, we're jumping into it. That is probably going to be the title. Your great value dream, or give up on your dreams and have the Attack on Titan guy and then have your face cropped over it.
Yeah, do that. It's going to be edited in. But now that I said it, you have to edit it.
So, why do you say you've given up on your dream?
Okay, well, I don't feel like I
mean, I guess that's presumptuous, right? Like, do you think that you gave up on your dream?
I think I've been living in denial for a long time about that, saying that I haven't really given up on my dream. I'm like, I'm gonna do things creatively on the side while doing nursing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think I have given up on my dream.
What was your dream before?
Just to be an actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
because the audience doesn't know that.
Yes. Okay. So here, do we just do like a background? Like
yeah.
Okay. So hi, I'm Sarah.
A really good friend of mine.
We're friends.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. She's pretty good. Okay. Sorry.
We like to humble each other.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted to be an actress since I was like 13, 14. Studied theater in college, and then tried doing that like a few years after college. COVID happened. It was kind of rough. I kind of lost motivation, and I'm sure we'll like touch on that later as well, like COVID, how it affected us.
Yeah.
Um, and then I got hospitalized with a gallstone, and it affected some of my organs. And I don't know, when you have a lot of time to think when you're alone in a hospital room. And I think during that time, I was just like thinking there wasn't really any direction in my life. I wasn't really learning anything. I also wasn't motivated to act anymore because finding agents is like tough, and it's a lot of work, self motivation when you're trying to act.
Yeah.
And so I just decided to like go to nursing school instead.
Do you think
um,
so? Okay, so
yeah,
you were in the hospital and thinking a lot.
yeah.
What were some of the things you were thinking about, and how did that lead to kind of like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stop this acting thing and do more of this nursing thing.
I don't think I've only told a few people this,
Oh my god!
and it sounds so superficial, but it's because
There was a hot nurse. No,
huh?
no, good.
No. It's probably even worse than that. It's because I looked down and my torso. I got the surgery left like 4 holes in me, basically like 4 scars, and I'm like, damn, I don't have a perfect body anymore.
Oh,
Like, what happens if I have like a shirtless scene or something? Like that's
yeah.
I'm permanently scarred. Let me just give up on acting. That was just I don't know. That stood out to me as my first like thought, but I'm like I thought more deeper, and it was more of like I don't know. Is it really sustainable? I mean, I'm already not like putting in effort to look for agents. I'm not signing up for workshops, any like master classes,
Mhm.
which is usually what you kind of have to do to put on your resume to like find a job as an actor and stuff like that. So I was already
Presumably.
presumably, yeah, that everybody's path is different, but that was the path that I wanted to go on. And since I found out that I really wasn't really like putting in any effort or time into this, it's time to try something new. And the nurses at the hospital were really really kind and really helpful, and I asked them about their life and how they got there, and the schedule was like what's the word for it, that's like not motivated, it was something attractive to me. It was attractive about the job. It was the scheduling, the pay,
Stable.
stable, you're always in demand. Also,
Right.
like, I mean, there should be at the top of the list. I'm helping people, but at the end of the day, as a job is a job. So
Yeah.
plus I have also been interested in medicine since I was younger. I just didn't want to study to be a doctor, so now I'm gonna study to be a nurse. It's the second best. Yeah, yeah.
So those of you who don't know, Sarah and I went to school together, and she, we both studied theater and acting,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so like they kind of tell us this is like a path. This is the path to go on. You go out and go auditions, and eventually land an agent, and then eventually get booked, and one of the roles you book is going to be your maker your big break. uh and so to my understanding, like, you weren't really putting in the effort, and maybe that that injury was like the catalyst to like the final straw to the decision of like, oh, I think I'm done. I'm gonna stop kidding myself, and pursue
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. That was like actually the. I don't know if it was a catalyst per se. It was just like a wake up call.
Hmm.
You
Did
know,
you think, was it kind of like a life or death thing? I know it was pretty serious, but like, how serious was it?
I didn't feel like my life was in danger, but they told me that if I hadn't gone to the ER in like 3 or 4 days, I probably would have like
Shit.
got some life threatening things happening to me.
Oh my god.
Uh,
That's why your mom was like so thankful.
yeah, and like one thing about me too is that I feel like I have no sense of self preservation. I just kind of go through life and I'm like,
Fuck it if it kills me.
right, yeah, sure. Man, oh god, like my arm chopped off, I'll still live. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Not really, but
You're not taking care of your 70-year-old self. What are you doing?
I will worry about it. Like, I tend to worry about things when they get real serious, but if they're not to the point where they're very serious yet, I don't worry too much about it. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
You tend to worry about stuff that, and if it's not too serious, you don't really worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only when it gets to like a point where it's gonna be like affecting my daily life, then I'm like, maybe I should think more about this. Yeah.
I think I'm the same way, and maybe it is a fault of ours. Maybe it is a fault of ours. Because I I guess I kind of think of it as like when I don't clean my room and I kind of put things like now my room's pretty clean, but in college I wouldn't really clean it until everything was really messy, and I'd be like, oh God, like now it's affecting where I walk, and I'm not gonna put it away if it's not affecting me. But now I'm like trying to get better at cleaning because I feel like it clutters your brain a bit if things are kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
You're worried about like other things.
I feel like for me though, it's more of a uh like a bad thing to not worry about things sooner, because in nursing, like you're dealing with someone's life, you know? Like you got to recognize the signs early, and you can't just be like, "Oh, it's a low-grade fever." Nah, it's fine. Like that can be a sign of something like way worse.
Oh,
So I had to literally like change my brain to be like, "Oh, maybe I should actually kind of like keep an eye on this thing, or like be worried about this right now." But again, this is just my future job, you know, like
mm-hmm.
everybody has a different, like it's me not worrying about something small doesn't affect, it doesn't, the stakes are not as high as other people. Like for you, just cleaning your room is not like you're gonna die or anything like that. Hopefully not. You're just gonna
Hopefully
trip on
not.
something and slip in.
A question I think we talked about it a little bit before this, but why nursing? Um, I think you might have mentioned it a little earlier, but just
Yeah.
reiterate it.
So, um, the main thing about me choosing nursing is because uh I liked the schedule. That was the main thing. It was
Mm-hmm.
like 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts is considered full time.
Yeah.
And so it would leave me the next 4 days of the week to pursue acting if I still wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, still living in denial. I was like, yeah, I'll go do auditions. I'll,
I
like
don't know. I don't know
be able to act.
if I told you this, but I don't think you're fully over.
No, you've
Because
told me this.
yeah, I have. Because you sometimes you say things like, "Oh man, when I get famous," or like, "Oh, maybe should I create content?" Oh no, like I think there's still maybe a part of you that wants to pursue something creative and like yeah, having a job is really nice. Having that steady income is really freaking nice. I could speak from experience too. I don't think I've given up per se, but like I've definitely derailed into a like a, oh man, stable money is actually really nice.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it, but I know that for me I'm working maybe more like I get home from my work and like either take a nap or just power through and try to be creative or try to level up like my like the content here or the content with Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
that you actually helped me out a lot on. um shoot, I think that was a bit of a tangent, but
No,
that's okay.
that's okay. No, I have something to say about that too.
Yeah.
So, uh, quick, going back on the like how you think that I haven't like gotten over it. I think the last time I mentioned to you, just like in passing, like, oh, when I get famous, or like, oh, if this goes viral, blah blah blah. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think I've said that at all. Like in the past few months, like ever since like actual nursing school started, I haven't thought about it like at all.
Because you've been so busy, or just
Yeah,
because?
just because I've been so busy and I'm kind of like pretty much set on this path now, I think. And I don't really have to talk about it anymore, like being in the entertainment industry or like, acting or content creating, because I already get to do that with you. Like because you're doing your Spidey thing, your content, and
Mhm.
like I help out with it. I'm like already getting my outlet that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm also like with some friends on Discord doing some like voiceover projects. And
Right.
even then, actually, that's like kind of overwhelming me, like having more than one project at one go.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like I'm happy, like currently where I am.
Hmm.
Like I feel like if I went back to chasing my original dream or anything like that, it's just I would be too overwhelmed and I wouldn't be able to put my efforts into really, really chasing my dream.
Mm. That
Yeah.
makes something about that clicked. That makes a lot more sense than what you when you previously said it prior to this,
Yeah.
because that kind of resonates with me in this way, where um prior to COVID, I was living in Chicago and pursuing my quote unquote dream, where I was auditioning, I was working a flexible job that I could drop at any time to go audition, and I was doing pretty good. I got some gigs, modeling and doing shows here and there.
Damn, we got modeling gigs?
Yeah, yeah. It
Are you
wasn't
gonna
like
show me pictures?
it wasn't that kind of modeling. It wasn't like a super ripped like pose. It was like a church magazine
Oh,
thing.
like one of those. What is it called? Like print modeling.
Yeah, yeah, where you're like,
Yeah,
all right, now I need you
like
guys to like
you're an average person,
exactly,
kind of like
yeah.
laughing, having fun with your
But the
friends.
thing said modeling gig, I think, and there were some people there that had agents and stuff, and they're like, yeah, they sent me out for this. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, cool, I guess. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
which also, like I said, everybody has their own path. Like you can get a gig without having an agent. So
yeah.
yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, but like after COVID and everything happened, I don't know. I'm kind of going about it a different way. Like you were saying, everyone does have their own path, but I don't think it's as straightforward as like audition, get an agent, book a gig, and break, and make it. I think there's so many outlets now, and maybe this is me coping a bit, but um, because a part of me does miss the auditions. I don't miss the time restraints, the time commitments that doing shows like theater shows
Yeah.
did, because that was like hours and hours, and it was so exhausting, and it was good, it was fulfilling and nice, but it wasn't really paying anything.
Yeah.
And like once I started having a pseudo full-time job, or working like solid gigs that I could entertain, like I go out and do school assemblies, and that like fulfills the performance aspect and paycheck, and so it's nice.
Mhm.
um but I still have dreams of like becoming financially free, and so that's kind of like my goal now, is to kind of be genuine, be a good person, and try to my quote unquote making it is having enough money to take care of my family and my friends, and those I love, so we can kind of like focus on each other and live life quote unquote happily.
Mhm.
um but maybe that's lofty, maybe that's, I don't know, but
I mean, that's what a dream is, right? Like
yeah.
it's could be unattainable, but it's a dream that you work for.
And you fight for.
Yeah, you fight for it. Um, so they should be lofty.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
delulu. No.
yeah. Well, okay. So we. Wait, sorry. Were you done? You
I
have
was
more
gonna
to say
ask.
about
I was
it?
gonna ask you something else, but you have something to say.
Okay, because I feel like this can lead to a long talk, so just
Okay.
keep that in mind.
Okay.
I know. So the whole thing about like we wanted to talk about was you believe that you should chase your dreams for your whole life or until you can't anymore? Like, what is your view as compared to give up on your dreams?
Right.
or soft give up on your dreams.
Right. Um, I think if you want something bad enough, you'll go for it. And there's I'm learning that like find like motivation is a little different. Like you can lose steam and you can lose motivation for your dream, but like you'll still want it. And so like a dream becomes starts becoming feeling like a reality when you start making goals and making little systems towards those goals. I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits, and they talk about like what is a little step you can do every day to kind of take a step towards the greater goal. Because winners and losers all have the same goal. They want to get the medal or get the win, get financially free, but
Mm-hmm.
only the winners make it. And well, what's the difference? Well, not the goal, because all the goals the same, is what the chapter I'm reading is
Mm-hmm.
on is saying. And they talk about um the difference is the systems, like what they do differently every day. Do they, you know, work out? Do they meditate? Do they uh sit down and have like a phone list 30 minutes where they just write their ideas and and like take a step towards implementing them, as in like, okay, can we just think about a storyboard and maybe write out a storyboard? Okay, tomorrow we'll pick up the camera and we'll like go out and shoot some locations or shot. What can you do to make you feel like you're progressing and allow yourself to feel that, like, that kind of um success, and like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel like this is getting a little traction, even if it's has one view. Even if it has, then, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, a week later I have 50 views now, or oh my god, my video got 30K views, what the hell? And then like that feel that let that kind of motivate you and keep propelling you forward. And and I think like if you really want it, and it depends per person whether it's a chip on your shoulder or what. But like I think, yeah, like I don't recently I got offered a full-time, pseudo offered a full-time position where I would make like 60K a year, and that was so enticing, like
Mm-hmm.
unbelievably enticing, cuz like,
Yeah.
but the time it would commit, the amount of draining it would take, I would feel like I would give up, and like I'd feel defeated. And so I
Mm.
didn't take it ultimately. And I was like, frick it. I make like with my all my side gigs, I make roughly 40 to 45K. Like making an extra 15K and doing double the hours is not going to be worth it. I think I'd rather keep chasing my dream. And there are some times where I just don't do anything towards the dream, and there was a time where I went like 5 months without posting, and like you could say I gave up, but now I'm back at it. And so that's what I mean, like not giving up, like knowing that it's still in your head, you're still thinking about it, it's still kind of keeping you up at night. That's still not giving up in my mind. And I think that you should not give up on your dream in that sense of like, okay, well, I'd rather not, because something you said is you'd rather just stop now, and then instead of chasing your whole life and never make it and then feeling like defeated. But my argument with that was you'd you'd regret, I think that someone would regret not chasing after their dream, versus them giving up and being like, well, like I just never did it. And like I think that brings more regret.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my stance and argument from there.
So when is it okay to like stop chasing your dream? Like let's say you do this like content creation thing, but it doesn't really gain traction, or it just like wears you out. You feel like you haven't hit your goal of like, oh, in 10 years I want to be able to achieve this much. You didn't achieve it. Would you still continue it like your entire life? Or would you
Great,
give up at some point?
great question. And I don't think it's as black and white as
Oh
that
yeah.
question. Um because I think I heard recently that people don't give enough of a time horizon to their things. People give like maybe a few months or a year, and that's really not enough.
Mm.
And so I think about 10 years is accurate, like 3, 5, 10 years or so, to hit certain thresholds. And like if I'm not putting in that effort, do you want more?
No, I think I'm good. I'm actually shaking.
Oh my god,
I
we're drinking this coffee thing.
it tastes so good.
Do you want water?
Uh,
I have a. It's salty.
it's salty.
Yeah.
Salty water.
I use the element.
Wait, hold on. I want to try it though.
Salty. This is the raspberry flavor.
Not sponsored.
It's so good
Not
for your
sponsored.
body. It's not sponsored,
But
but
sponsor
man, this
us.
is so awesome. I'll have a referral link down below. If you want a free like,
I don't know. Oh, there
I
it
think it's
is.
free. Try. Oh my god, I don't even know if it's free. I think it is, but or you like buy the cheapest thing and it comes with an extra 8 packs, which are like a $15 value. And you can try all the flavors. And like it was a great start to your morning. It like you could use it as like a pre-workout. It's great for hydration, and it's scientifically proven that we need more salt and vitamins than people will say we do. So I take this, and I started taking AG1, I think it is. Oh my god, I moved the camera. Sorry.
Oh no.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I
How do you like it?
It tastes like some kind of Asian drink that I can't.
Stay salty.
I can't, I can't remember it right now. It doesn't taste bad. Like, sure, salty water, but no,
It's pretty good, right?
yeah, it's an aftertaste of like raspberry or something like that.
Yeah. That's the.
Yeah,
Or watermelon. I think
Oh,
mine
watermelon?
is salty watermelon.
it tastes like when you add salt to watermelon. I mean, okay, that's literally what it is, but it does.
Oh my god. Well, if you want to taste the salty watermelon, link in the.
Back in Singapore, we would add salt to like pear. Like, yeah, like sweet pear. We would dip it in salt and eat that, and so it reminds me of that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a spicy mango one upstairs too, and it tastes like you put chili and
Ooh,
mango. Yeah, it's
ooh,
nice.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh my gosh, what were we
I don't
talking
know.
about?
Do you need a stretch break or anything though?
Huh?
Do you need a stretch break?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. Back to our video. I think we were talking about I said like my stance on beliefs
Yeah.
chasing your
Oh,
dreams. So
yeah.
why so
Sorry,
do you think you've given up on yours, and how do you kind of cope with it?
Um. Yeah, I think I've given up on trying to act as a career.
Is that still your dream? Is that still cuz that oh, I remember what we were talking about. You were like
Yeah.
like
When how long do you try? How long do you
right.
keep trying?
And I would say for me, I'm gonna keep trying minimum 3 years, 5, and if not 10. Like I don't know. It depends too where I'm at in life, right? Like if I have kids, will I still keep going? And I think the answer
Mm.
is yes, because I think I have like entertainment bones in me. I think that's kind of like what drives me. That's why I was put on this earth, or so. I feel like I was born to kind of like affect people positively
Mm-hmm.
and entertain. And if I do both, then I'm winning.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I'll ever stop that. And then the dream is to become financially free. And right now, what's sticking is like creating content. Um, cre- uh, yeah,
Okay, so you do actually give yourself a timeline. Like, because I know a lot of, just from watching actors' interviews, they're like, all right, I'm going to give myself like 5 years in LA. If I can't do anything, then I'm going to have to something else. Um,
I think sometimes it's good to have a timeline.
yeah, yeah. And then they either make it or break it. We've got some people that have been trying for like 15 years, only had like small roles here and there, and they just kind of phase out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll do like a regular office job, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm just yeah, just like how you're waiting maybe for example, currently like I don't know, 5 to 10 years. My span was like 3 years and I was like, "Oh, it didn't really work out, so I'm just going to go to something else."
But like you were saying, you weren't really trying.
No, I wasn't really trying.
I remember one time we were auditioning for something at Texas State, um, and that's where we went to college, where
Oh
we
yeah.
met, and and you were like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm like writing my actions, and I'm like going over the lines, and I have a callback, so I'm like preparing or I'm going over my monologue, and I'm kind of like thinking about like what I want to do differently." And you were like, "Damn, that's kind of a lot. I don't even do that. I don't even do all that."
Did I
I
say that?
I think
Oh
so,
no.
yeah. And, and I was like, "Come on, Sarah, come on. We got to work harder than the people in front of us, or else we're never gonna get a part."
Talking about me sounding condescending. God damn.
When or did it make you?
Yeah. No, because like, okay, here's the thing that I'm working on and how I feel like I sound, but sometimes I really don't have that much of a filter, and I end up just saying things that sound a little condescending. So that might have been an instance of it.
Marley and I talk about it a little bit, like that you could be really blunt, and it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just kind of a little bit about it's what makes you you at the moment.
at the moment.
Yeah,
Alright.
like this is who you are at the moment. I say that because I think people can grow and learn.
Yeah,
And if that's
yeah.
something you don't like, if you feel like you need to grow from that, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily to, because I don't think it's condescending. Maybe that's how you
Is
perceive
it
it.
not? Yeah, because
I
blunt
don't
and
know.
condescending are two different things.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I was thinking that blunt is a bad thing. I guess yeah, condescending can be a bad thing, but then it's like the argument is it
Because
really condescending?
condescending, it implies that I'm looking down on at you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and so in that regard, wouldn't you think I would be condescending, like telling you about like how much harder I'm working? Of course, I didn't have any. I was just telling her what I was doing. I didn't have any bad intentions.
Yeah. I mean, there's also like the way you're saying it, you know?
Right,
Like,
like I'm like, oh no, no, I'm
yeah,
like
but if
working.
it's like factual, oh yeah, no, like I'm working harder at this, but you won't say like I'm working harder at this than you.
Right.
Like that
Wait,
would be
so why did you
condescending.
think you were condescending when your reply was something like,
Yeah, because your face was showing that like, oh my god, you're doing that much? Like, come on. I
"Oh, I'm sorry."
was like, really?
In
Do
the
you do
moment,
that
she was
face?
more shocked and surprised. She was
Oh.
like, "Oh my god, really? Like you're." I don't even do that. You know, kind of like a embarrassment a little bit. It felt like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, yeah.
Well, don't portray me in a bad light.
It's a bad lie.
Okay, anyway.
You're human. I mean, like, you
Yeah,
can feel.
yeah. Oh my gosh, how do we get on the topic? Oh,
Uh,
so we were talking about me not really trying.
we don't have to go like back, like whatever, because I kind of want to. Like,
Oh, just go wherever
yeah, as long
we're
as it has
talking.
purpose. Because no, I was gonna say like I feel kind of like a fraud sometimes when I say like like you're human. Allow yourself to feel that way. I feel like when did I get that way? Do I feel like I have to put up these airs so I can be a
Uh,
like keep portraying a good person? But I don't know. I think I do. It makes me feel like a fraud, but
hmm.
I don't think I don't think I am. I think I genuinely meant that, like that was a human reaction, and I don't think it's portraying you in a bad light.
I mean, I didn't think you were a fraud. I mean, as long as you're not hypocritical about it, which you totally aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I was portraying you in a bad light.
Yeah. Well, when you watch the recording back, you're gonna see what face you made.
Fine. I apologize if I was,
No,
but
I'm not genuinely offended. It's funny. No, I thought it was funny.
I need to scrunch
What
up
is
my
it?
face because I've been
Small
smiling.
face, big face. Yeah.
Ah. I've been smiling so much, so now I feel like my cheeks are
Uh,
like.
yeah. No, I think you were asking me, um, do I feel like I've like truly given up on it or something along those lines?
Hmm.
Or how did I feel okay with giving it up? Um,
Hmm.
I think it's because I feel like I've actually like given enough time and like I tried it out. I have the privilege and the blessing to be able to like study when I want it instead of, being in one of those family situations like I'm not able to chase my dreams. I have to make enough money, take care of my family, take care of, my younger siblings. Yeah, no, I was blessed to have the means to be able to chase what I wanted to do. Realize it's not really what I wanted to do. Um And I did go to auditions. I did get gigs. I did it maybe about like two years, but it wasn't like me going hard at it. Like not compared to people that like managed to find agents, was like traveling to Dallas and then Austin and then another town, like all within the same day, only to get rejected by all three, kind of a
Yeah.
deal. Like I didn't go as hard as those people, but I feel like I got enough enjoyment, enough experience out of it that I'm like, okay, it was one stage in my life. I'm happy to let that go now.
And that's what it comes down to, I think. You feeling satisfied and content with like, okay, I've put in the amount of effort that I wanted to, and so now I'm gonna
Yeah,
do other things. I like money. Money's nice. I like guaranteed money.
I've like made peace with it. It
Yeah.
it felt a little bad at first. It like feels bad when it's like, oh man, I like spent all this money, spent all my parents' money, really like
Mhm.
going to all these like theater camps and like college. Um, man, I'm not using it in my life right now. But
Dude, yeah.
I've made some genuine friends along the way. I grew as a person, and like there are some soft skills that you learn in like theater that you will use in the medical
Oh,
field.
hella universal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone should study some type of theater
Yeah, yeah.
because it's like voice diction, taking care of your body.
The body language, which is so important when you're like dealing with patients, just communication in general. Because, bro, there's so many people in the medical field that like aren't the best at like talking to people, and like we always talk about nursing, it's an art. It's like you're both doing the science stuff of it, but it's the art of caring someone. Like there's the soft skills part of it. So at the beginning, it did take some like time to get over certain negative feelings about like, oh man, I've just given up. My life was like wasted for like 5 years. But
I have a question that
I've just like matured enough, I think, to be like, I have no regrets. I would do it all over again if I went back in time.
okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
When when you mentioned your parents, of like feeling guilty about spending their money, how much of that do you think you carry with you? I asked for a personal reason because for me, uh, I'll save that till I hear your answer. But how much of like wanting to do things for the sake of your parents, as in like wanting to make them proud because you think this is what would make them proud, or wanting to do something within your career because that's what they paid for. How much do you think you do that? And how much do you think you're living your life the way you want fully?
Mm, it's equal amounts. Yeah. Um, like, funnily enough, well, I don't come from a very like traditional Asian family where it's like, uh, grow up to be a doctor, lawyer,
Hmm.
all those kinds of things. My parents were very supportive. I knew I wanted to do something like I didn't want a regular like 9 to 5 job, so that's why I kind of went into I majored in communications first.
How was it like growing up in Singapore?
My family is an outlier, so I can only speak from my experience.
Right.
But I went through public school. I mean, it was just studying a lot, doing extracurricular activities, making sure you got good grades because depending on your grades, dependent uh like kind of directed what school you're gonna go to, and then where school you're gonna go to would determine what kind of job you got. So it's very
Talk about how
Singapore is a very elitist
yeah.
society.
Talk about the weight of and the pressure that you felt when making good grades and when you made a bad grade.
um well, my mom threw my I was playing on my brother's PSP, PlayStation Portable, I think it was
Yeah.
called. She threw it against the wall when I didn't get good grades.
Oh my god.
Um, she would. I love my mom. She's great. She doesn't do that
Auntie
anymore.
Christie's awesome.
I think Christy's awesome. Um, I mean, I know a lot of parents that like, hit their kids
Yeah.
when they didn't do well in school, and like they would compare you to your cousins and your siblings. And also just like societally, is that a word?
Sure.
Socially, you would kind of be slightly like looked down upon on if you didn't go to a better like school, or if you're like in a lower ranked class, kind of a deal.
So kind of status meant everything.
Most things, not
Titles
like
and
everything.
status.
Yeah, so because when your kid does well in school, then you would obviously boast about it,
Mm-hmm.
at like church or with your friends or just in your social groups. Um, I didn't really feel that much of a like pressure with my family. Um, I've just I know I've been able to stay afloat like above average all the time. So
What was your lowest and highest grade?
lowest, I actually failed a math test.
Oh my God, is that when
I
she
got
threw
the
the PSP?
lowest in my class.
Is that when she threw the
Um,
PSP?
no, it was a different one. I didn't score well, and I was still playing on that thing. So she's like, "Why are you still playing the game? Like, when you should be studying?" Kind of a deal. But the lowest, oh man, oh, this is bringing back memories. I got like a 48 or something, or like a 46. Um, and I was like walking down the hallway once with like my classmates, and I just heard like two girls behind me, my classmates, go like, "Oh my god, did you see like who got the 48? Like, how did anyone score that low?" And I'm like, "Oh god, it was
Oh,
me." I didn't actually say that. No, I was just like, I kept quiet.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It feels that sounds so cutthroat.
And the highest score, I mean, just like perfect score, basically. But
One
yeah,
hundo.
100.
And when did you come to the US?
Between 17 and 18.
Damn, so like graduating high school?
Yeah, you graduate high school at 16 or 17. So I was 17 when I came over. Do you want me to check your framing?
No.
Yeah, came here 17. Went to 4-year college.
Okay. When you arrived, or I think you've told me before, but what was like what were some of the influencing factors of why you came to the US versus stayed in Singapore?
I had a U.S. citizenship. So I was born here.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was born here, so I have a U.S. citizenship. Um, I was born close to Dallas, so my family was here. My dad was a pilot, and he was here on a like business trip thing, so he was here for a couple years. So that's enough time to make a baby. I was like, so I was born here, and then when I was 10 months old, we went back to Singapore. I got the citizenship there through naturalization, so I had two citizenships, and I get to keep both of them until like my end of my 21st year. I had to pick one when I was 22, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And so my family, my parents they wanted me to make the decision, so they gave me the option to like come back here for college and see if I wanted to stay, because by the time I finish college I'll be like 21 or 22, So yeah, I picked here instead because I wanted to do something artsy. Like I was in theater, that's what I wanted to do, and there's like no opportunities for that in Singapore.
What got you into theater, anyways?
Just watch a lot of TV shows with my father when I was in.
You're like, I want to be an opar. I want to be.
Opar.
Oh.
No, it's a lot of like CW shows, really.
In Singapore?
Yeah, we
Oh,
watch.
shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. That's
I mean, okay, Singapore is very westernized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very westernized.
Right.
Like I grew up watching Disney Channel and
Oh,
Cartoon
damn.
Network too. Yeah, no, yeah, that's where I learned my American accent, really. So yeah,
It's always funny when you're Singaporean accent comes out
Oh,
when you speak to your
I can
parents.
switch.
I think you code switch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we were talking earlier too, like that.
Mm-hmm.
That you speak a little differently when you're with your parents. You act a little differently, and I mean, it's natural.
Yeah, no, it's really weird when I like go back to Singapore and then I just naturally go back to this accent and I'm like, where am I? Who am I? When I'm on the plane too, because during international flights, you'll have like maybe half of the flight attendants are American and the other half are Singaporean. And so they both have different accents. And so depending on who I'm talking to, I change my accent up.
Dude, I
So the
totally do
person
that too.
sitting next to me on the plane seat is like, is she having an identity crisis? Like, who is she?
Oh my god, I remember doing a phone call for the Lone Star characters,
Mhm.
and I was speaking to a parent, and she had like a thick Hispanic accent, and I could tell, like, instead of speaking, proper good articulation, I like started slurring a little bit, and like not slurs, but like just I don't know. I think I speak a little like I guess you could call it a Hispanic accent came out
Uh huh.
where I can't even describe it without sounding.
Do it right now.
I, I don't even. Yeah. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it.
You can do it. You can do it, and no one can cancel you.
No. Oh man. How did she had like a thick hello yes yes sir, and I'd be like, okay, do you want like, and I could like, do you want like this like a packet, like, oh god, now it's sounding like Asian and I'm not trying to, oh my god. But the this is, it's I just shifted into like
Yeah. You
a
imitate
different
that.
accent.
Yeah.
Holy.
Oh my gosh, what's going on? Yeah.
I'm gonna get canceled again.
You
No, I'm
would,
kidding.
but that's great about like speaking different languages and different cultures. You just switch. Yeah. You're able to adapt to wherever you are. um. Yeah. So they wanted me to basically pick what nationality I wanted to be, and I picked this one because also another thing, if any of them wanted to come over to the US, it would just be easier for me to like get them a green card or something like that. Because I'm already a citizen, it would like cut down maybe like, I don't know, depending on who's gonna be in office at the time, like it could delay the process like a few years. But if I am already a citizen, then like it's makes the process like way easier. Also, I can like work here. I don't have to like get taxed more or like, I don't know, do like have trouble finding a job as a foreigner here. Yeah. And if I ever went back to Singapore, I know my family's there and I, can very easily just merge back into that society and stay with them and stuff
Would
like
you
that.
ever go back?
No. No.
Why not?
The cost of living is so high. It's so high, and like it's also really hard to find a job. It's very saturated. There's a ton of people. Housing is hard to find. You don't even get your chance of housing, by the way. Like now, because it's so populated, you you have to like basically put in a ballot saying like, "Hey, I'm looking for a house." And like we have these thing called HDBs.
HDBs.
Yeah,
Happy Day Births.
Happy Day Birds. Wait, HDB. What does it stand for? Housing development. Yeah, I think it's Housing Development Board. It's like a I gotta fact check this. Housing Development Board.
I'll put it. The audio cut off here. I think it's because we got a um alert warning on our phones. But yeah, sorry about that. And back to the show.
If you want a house or an apartment, basically apartment, you would have to apply for one, and then it's a raffle. So they'll like pull your name out of a hat basically and see if you get a house that year. Otherwise, you'll have to like apply again next year, and then you will get to put in like 2 ballots, so you have a higher chance of getting a house.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, you have certain like things you get to choose, like which area you want to live in, or like how many bedrooms you need, kind of a deal. But you don't really get to specifically like go to this particular apartment and be like, oh yeah, I want this one.
Damn.
Unless you have money.
That's kind of crazy.
That's the government side of things though. If you have your own money, of course you can like go get your own like actual house,
Mhm.
or like go get a condo or
Oh.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, so that's kind of like assisted living?
I don't know if it's considered like assisted like government. It's government help. I don't know what it is. Government assisted housing. Yeah, yeah. There's a term for it. I don't know. But like most people who live in Singapore, um, unless you're in like the top like few percent, like unless you like earn more than average than everyone else, then you would have to live in those government apartments. Yeah. They're making it much nicer now though. Like the ones from like the 70s are like they look so old and they have really really old amenities, but the new ones can be considered like what you would find here in a condo in the US. So,
Damn.
yeah. Or if you watch these like Korean dramas or like Japanese, or if you watch like anime, it's what you would see those animes, what those apartments look like over there. Yeah, but it's I don't ever want to go back. Um, all of my friends that I went to school there with at the same age as I am, smarter than me, still can't find jobs. Like or
Damn.
yeah, or they can't find their dream job, their ideal job. They just have to pick whatever is available now. Um, yeah. Imagining like not being able to get the job you want, like being an accountant your whole life when you wanted to be something else. Yeah, not for me. Yeah. You get more options here in the US, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I won't go back. What do you think about that? It's great as a tourist attraction. It's great if you're a businessman. It's great if you're a foreigner going to the US, but at this point, a lot of the population in Singapore is actually like foreigners, like people from quote unquote like third world countries coming to Singapore trying to have a better life. So a lot of like Filipinos, a lot of um, Indians, they come to Singapore for like uh, jobs, and plus we're an aging population. People are not having babies. No, it's not a good place to start a family, I think. Yeah.
That's something we talked about too. That like what your relationships and when you were thinking about if you were thinking about starting a family or getting a relationship and you were like, nah, I don't have time for that. I don't. Right now, you're kind of focusing on your career.
Yeah. I also think it's just a lot of like what young people are thinking about these days. It's not just Singapore. It's just like most young people, at least in the US and like South Korea, like the Asian countries, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of it's just expensive to have kids these days. They want to focus on themselves. The women are more focused on their careers and like, doing family rearing.
Do you think I don't know I don't know if do you think the population is inclining or declining at the moment?
What do you mean like where?
In the US.
Population?
Yeah.
Like size wise?
Uh-huh.
I think we're still increasing.
You
Yeah,
think so?
the birth rates here are still more than one. It's like 2 point
Because I
something.
think I don't know. I'm gonna have to fact check myself.
Yeah, fact check, fact check.
But I'm gonna but I heard that because of those reasons, like people wanting to not really w- uh wanting to work on their career and themselves and the cost of bringing a child into this world and there's there's a lot of it might be increasing at the moment, but it's going towards a decrease.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's
Mhm.
still increasing, but the rate at which we're increasing is way lower than it was before.
Mhm.
Again, fact checked.
Yeah, I'll do some research. Dang, I'm giving more work to myself.
If
um,
I only had a phone to Google the answers right now.
I think I have an extra. No, it's fine. It'll be fine. Feel free to
Yeah.
like bring up anything or ask me questions too. Um,
How many kids would you have?
oh God, no! Do you not have to force it? Oh God, I go back and forth in like trying to figure out if I want a bunch of kids or if I just want like one or two. If
Mm.
I was like if I was super wealthy and could afford it, then again like I'd want as
That's
many
really
as I could handle. Um, but I think for sure it's just like one or two minimum. I think two minimum. Uh,
You can handle more than two, you think?
I don't know. If I was wealthy, I'd have like maybe um people helping, whether it's my friends or my family or maids. But then that goes into like people growing up with maids and their parents. I want to be in the picture of my kids
Yeah.
and help influence them and teach them um. But I also like working a lot and want to like and don't want to stop doing that. That's something that I'm like struggling with is the notion of is working too hard a bad thing? What do you think?
Is working too hard a bad thing?
Yeah, working too much like working 40, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it will lead to burnout. I think it's really just like the main thing. Yeah,
What if it
burnout.
doesn't? What if like
If a person doesn't get burnt out from working 80 hours a week.
yeah, cuz some people could consider this working and this feels like good, right? It feels and so like if you do let's say five podcast like three podcasts
Mm-hmm.
and then you do like editing, whatever.
Well, yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe some people's work doesn't really include really taxing things.
Mm.
Well, but then if you're doing this, do you have like the time to spend with like friends, family? Because any time you take at work, unless you're working with your friends and family, you don't get to spend time. You don't get to spend time with them. You don't get time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I just don't think a good work life balance includes, what was it, 60 hours a week or
There
more.
I think the thing that you're getting at is there needs to there's gonna be a sacrifice,
Yeah.
whether it's spending time with friends, spending time with loved ones or family.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're working that much, and I think I've accepted, and this is kind of a little contingency of in like my relationship that we're my relationship that we're kind of working through is how is finding the balance of like okay, I need to work, I want to work a lot to progress my goals, um and but I also want this relationship to flourish. So um having things like my partner setting up like all these cameras and like working with me, hopefully like that'll be the goal. um but I think I'm personally like you're right, if you want to work that much, then there's going to be sacrifice, and I think that I'm willing to do that, especially because I value friends a lot more specifically now. Um, Back then I was like a huge social butterfly and wanted to like make everyone happy and want to make as much friends as possible. And when
Mm-hmm.
someone invited me out, I'd be like, yeah, sure, like I'm on my way, and do everything. But now I'm much more selective, and I don't. And in college, I was like, man, I don't believe the notion that like you only have a handful of best friends. Like people can have a bunch of friends, and I'm like, oh, life and reality hit me in the face. Like you really only do have a handful of friends that you can like really, really um count on.
Yeah.
Um and those friends are like the close friends. Everyone else is kind of like an acquaintance, and that's not a bad thing. But like if you want to get really close to people, like you're gonna have to spend time with them. And if if people don't respect that I'm working so much, and like you're like, oh, Daniel, not like you didn't come out to my birthday party, you didn't come out to um like our get together, our drinking fest, our this or that. And if they like, if I end up losing friends because of that, then I think that they weren't meant to be like my friends in the long run, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, the people that are in my life now aren't like that. You're not like that. My partner's like not like that. Bri and Brian are not like that. If they want to get on voice chat and play games, and they're like, "Man, like, come on, I miss the boys." I'm like, "Yeah, me too. All right, like, let's get together." But like sometimes we go like months without talking to each,
Yeah.
like to really texting each other. Um, but that like, I think I I do cherish and love them. I do. I don't think I do. I cherish and love them so much to where I am willing to forego some of like my potential success or potential workload and sacrifice that to go visit them and sometimes like we work together, like we're thinking and we're wanting to like do podcast shows like this together too.
Mm-hmm.
um so I don't think it's completely like one can't work without the other.
Yeah.
So all that's to say that you're right. I don't think that you can have multiple, you could do everything at once,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not a bad thing for certain people. For
Yeah.
me, I think that's okay. But if you want to have more friends and split your time that way, then that's your choice. And it's just, I guess, what your priorities are. And mine are more firmer, and not that yours aren't firm, but like mine are like I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder of like I'm gonna freaking do it. I'm gonna get out of poverty. I'm gonna get out of and work hard and give my parents the life that they deserve, and give and do all X, Y, and Z. Like my why is there, and so I'm working hard towards it. And and if and that's like what my priority is. But if someone else says priority isn't that, then I don't fault them for it. It's just we're different people.
Mm-hmm. I think you used chip on the shoulder wrong. Again.
Yes. Okay. So, what? This is something she kind of harps on me about when, because
Giving you the definition, and I
so
feel
the
like
chip on my say it again.
chip of your shoulder means that you are holding a grudge against something or someone that you want to like prove them wrong. But
Right,
that means somebody like implies that somebody has like wronged you.
and that's not completely wrong.
Oh, okay. When you were like mentioning it earlier, I didn't get the
The sense of it.
yeah, who wronged you? Who hurt you? Like just wanted like property?
Um. So I think I did mean it more in like the determining sense. Like I feel determined. But I think I do feel a sense of, I think, and maybe I'm not using it completely right, but my parents are immigrants.
Yeah.
I'm first generation, and so um I want to prove, I guess, like in a way, America wrong also. Um, and then and then there's always been throughout college, like I'm like I was pursuing a teaching degree too, and people were like, "You should just be a teacher," and then a part of me is like, "That's not the answer I wanted you to say." Uh, so I want to prove them wrong also, and you know, shit hit the fan in my life in 2020, and so I think a part of me does feel a little kind of like I'm gonna prove you wrong, that I'm not that person, and wanna succeed in my own way and prove you wrong that way too. And that's kind of a little bit of a driving force. So in
Mm.
that way, maybe it's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh
How you feel?
no, I think yeah, prove them wrong, man. Like
Do you feel
go
awkward
for it.
when I bring that up a little bit?
No, I
No.
don't.
Are you trying
I'm
to?
just no, does this sound I'm just trying to see if you
Ma-
used it in the right context. Because okay, whenever someone says that they have a chip on their shoulder, I'm like,
It's a lot more like negative.
yeah, negative. I'm like, oh my god, why is he being like so try hard about that? But you're not.
Because
Like, I don't.
yeah,
Yeah. When you say you have a chip on your shoulder, I'm like, I feel like that means you're saying that like you're proving that you want to prove them wrong out of like spite.
gotcha.
You know?
And I think this is totally what it is. When I was in college, I was really listening to the soundtrack of Legally Blonde, and he goes like, "And I have a chip on my shoulder," and he goes um, he says something about like talking to his mom. Oh, how does it go? Chip on my shoulder, and I prove, and I told my mom. My mom and told her, like, this chance I've been living, I want to be driven as hell. And like he goes really like I'm driven, and I wanna buy my mom a house on the bay, and have a chip on my shoulder. And so like whenever I would like play that song to motivate me, I was like, damn, this is hype. I want to also buy my mom a house. I want to also like get her a comfy living. Like yeah, whew. And like while I was working out, like whatever. And so I think that's my definition, like whatever.
Yeah. You're...
And so I never knew the proper definition of chip on your shoulder. So when I like it totally probably is a negative thing, but like I don't think I can look at it in that way.
Yeah. Idioms are hard.
Dude, I always used to say like I learned idioms when I was in senior high school. Like English is my second language, and I'm trying to like fight to not use that as an excuse. But I use it sometimes. Like yeah, okay. I grew up like dyslexic and reading off of like a color panel where words would like move around. So English is tough, but I'm trying to not let that define me. But sometimes it is tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. Like, don't use it as an excuse, but it is what it is, you know? Like, some people are still really successful, like, even though they're dyslexic, but they had to overcome, like, so many, like, difficulties. So, if you're able to get past that, it's just, like, an additional, like, and I got to do this even though I had dyslexia. Which also, who freaking spelled dyslexia? That's terrible for a
I know, right?
spell. Freaking, who?
I don't think I want that under my. I don't want to be associated like Daniel. He's English second language learner, dyslexic, and he's able to like fight. I don't know if I want to like that to be like my foundation.
Yeah, you just want to be like, he's great for what he is.
Yeah,
that's it. Not anything like, oh, he's great despite having all these things.
Yeah, like
it's like underselling you a little bit.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like a backhanded comment.
Mm-hmm. I want it to be revealed later, like, damn, and he was fighting dyslexia, and he was fighting ESO. Like, damn, boy, you're doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm working really hard, and it sucks, and it hurts sometimes, and I cry.
That's when you have a chip on your shoulder because people are talking shit about you.
Oh, really?
Talking crap. I mean, talking crap about you.
There has been shit said all over the podcast.
Okay.
It's fine. The Spidey content is PG-13, I believe. But this content is probably a little not, and that's fine because I want people to be there. Like, I don't want them to feel like they have a filter.
The sun has went down. I don't know if the lighting is still good.
I think it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah. Now all the light is on you.
I feel like all the light is on you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I guess the lighting's still good.
Yeah, I can look real quick. Let me see.
Yeah. Don't give up on your dreams, even though you may have a learning disability.
Yeah. Don't give up on your dreams.
I think is it Dove Cameron or like some Disney Channel star has dyslexia and yet they're still a Disney Channel star.
Probably.
They're just
There was.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah. Do you remember that video?
Like the Shia LaBeouf one?
No.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
The bread one. The give up on your beans of becoming a baker.
Give up on your give up on your dreams of becoming a baker. You gotta give up on your dreams.
I was having something in my head. Give up on your dreams.
Oh man, yeah, no, I
Brian
love
David Gilbert.
Brian David Gilbert, BDG.
Do you still listen? Do you still watch a lot of his stuff, or not? Not really.
Not well. I subscribe to him, but I haven't seen his latest videos for like a few months.
How you doing, Brian? Hope you're doing.
He's probably doing good.
Yeah, probably.
He makes cameos on like comedy shows, stand up stuff. He's still making videos, so think he's good.
He's doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty
He's probably
okay.
doing good.
Yeah. He's still funny.
So I kind of talked about like where is your, do you have like a kind of a goal in mind of like where you want to end up, or you just want to like, yeah, I guess what are your aspirations, like where do you want to go, what do you want to do?
I want to be able to purchase my own home. Well, okay, long-term goal, I want to be a millionaire. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
because like my parents, like they're millionaires. Like they have money, and I constantly feel like I have to be on their own level. Like just like how, oh, you want to improve yourself as a person. I feel like I want to improve the level of my family. Like each generation should be better than the last one. That, I mean, I know it's not going to be perfect all the time, especially with like this generation, all of our odds stacked against us, but I can't help feeling that like if I'm like a disappointment if I don't make enough or make the same or more money than my parents.
You keep telling me like you don't want to use your parents' money, like you don't want to be that, you kind of want to be a little self-made.
Yeah.
Which like I do respect you for. And so like at what point would you ever count on them for like money to put you through training or school or
Oh, yeah.
financial help? I never really thought of it of you like your parents live in Singapore and have a property?
Yeah.
They like own it or they rent it?
I mean, they own it.
Yeah, so I like always kind of assumed that they were pretty well off, but like I never knew exactly how much. And so when you like saying it, like yeah, they're millionaires, I'm like, okay, I totally knew it. Like I'm looking, but
We can call Auntie Christy and have her give us a number.
yeah, Auntie Christy,
Like,
how much
I'll be
is in your
transparent.
bank? What are your liquid asset? What are your assets, and what do you have liquidity? So what? Ah, man, I guess I never really thought about that, but how does it feel to have parents that are like wealthy?
You feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, okay, oh my gosh, I'm gonna sound like I don't want to sound like I'm a spoiled brat, but I do work hard.
She works really fucking hard. Yeah.
I work hard. I try not to take like money from my parents, but we always have this song and dance. I'm like, I don't need money. I don't want money. I don't need your money. And they're like, we literally work this hard to give our kids money. So just take the money. So I just try to make sure I use that money to invest in myself and my future so I can give it back to them.
Nice.
And then also when they want to buy me like material stuff, I'm like, don't, like I'll want like one or two material things, but it's like it's not what brings me like happiness. Like I will only like flex branded goods if I'm like top 10% or like top 1%, which my family isn't. Because I feel like if I'm just like carrying all these branded goods right now, like I don't want to be carrying stuff that I can't afford with my own income. Like I don't want to be seen as, oh, I'm spending my parents' money kind of a deal. Yeah, because it's you're just like, it's you're fake. I feel like my personality would be so fake for that. But having people always say like, oh, money can't buy you happiness. It can buy you happiness to like very big extent, I think. Yeah, for sure. Like
I think it's that comfortability.
yeah,
Like you don't have to. You're not stressed and
you're not
worried
living
about.
day by day. You're not like stressing over not like $2 in your bank account. And
So you told me that you're kind of stressing a bit about money. Like you're going into a student mode, and
yeah,
you're gonna be working part time.
yeah.
Why don't you ask them like, hey, can you help like pay a little bit of my rent while so I can feel comfortable and like studying as hard as I can?
Uh, what's the question again?
Why don't you?
Why don't I ask for help?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's I guess it's also like a pride thing. I've always felt uncomfortable like asking for money from my parents.
Why?
Oh, So I'm like, I don't want to, like I mentioned, I don't want to be living off of them, you know.
Yeah. But
But
I mean, you won't be like, I guess a little. They'll be helping you, sure, but you won't be like living. Maybe you will. I mean, I the
mm,
thing that can nothing can stop you from feeling that way besides you.
mm-hmm.
Besides you. Hmm.
I think I don't mind them paying for my education when I was in like a four-year college, because when you're a kid that age, it's like you can't really fund yourself. I think unless you like take out like student loans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or
Um,
get financial help from the
so
government.
yeah, I felt like I was young enough to be able to have my parents help me out, but I'm like 27 now. I'm like, I feel like I should be funding myself.
Hmm.
Um,
What do you think? Where do you think you get that from? Because there are some cultures where like the parent is like in the life, and they like the sons and daughters live with their family for generations, and like
mhm.
multiple families live in the same big house, and like they all cook for everyone, and they pool in the money together. So like, where do you think it comes from? That like, oh, I need to be independent. I need to do things on my own.
I always was under the assumption that like once you're like quote unquote an adult with like a stable job, you have to give back to your parents. Like at least in Singapore culture or Asian culture, you kind of want to like give your parents an allowance. Well, not, allowance sounds like they're kids. No, you just want to like give back like a monthly amount.
I think I get you because my mom always says like I want to send money to my mom. I want to send money to my mom, and it's like, or is it different?
And no, it's the same thing. Like I would like to give money to my parents. Um, and like sometimes people can afford to do that or they don't. It's like an old traditional thing, I think.
How are you gonna how are you gonna become a millionaire working as so? I mean, you can definitely, but how do you think you're gonna become a millionaire? Um, working when you land a high paying job in the medical field.
I'll like get property, get passive income. I mean, it will take years to get to a million number, but also parents will. I'll get some money.
Maybe it won't take yeah, because well, the thing I hear all the time when I'm on like finance TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but when I'm on YouTube looking at shorts, I see influencers talk about finances and money, and a lot of them say like the first 100,000 is the hardest. Getting from 0 to 100,000 is the hardest because every penny counts. But getting from 100,000 to a million is a lot easier because
Mm,
then you have more to work with. You can
mm-hmm.
invest in higher property. You can um, invest in stocks. Like if you and this is what like they don't teach you. I think I say that because I mean I could be wrong, and that so take this with a grain of salt. But if you work let's say you're a teacher making 60K a year. If you live below your means and live like frugally and invest the money, whether it's real estate. Don't recommend because well, whatever you invest in, whatever you can find out information for. So I found out a lot of information about stocks. So
Mm,
I would invest in stocks that give the highest comfortable yield with like with the low risk, like about 7% return on like dividends. Not to get into the nitty gritty, but so like if you take the money and any excess splurge money, you just put in there aggressively, and then you get back 7% a year, and
mm-hmm.
then whatever money you get back, you reinvest, and that's called compounding.
Yeah.
Um, and so if you do that, you can actually become a quote unquote you can have $1 million a lot faster. um and so the average Joe can do that if they like kind of teach themselves to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and if they don't spend on like distractions on like you know splurgy things. And I'm not saying not to do that, because live your life however you want, But if your like sole purpose was to make $1 million and you're gonna like not do anything, not go out, not, I'm not saying that, but then you can do it fairly quickly.
I
It's
already
just
don't do that. I already don't go out.
yeah, I mean, me either, really. Because I don't really, I don't really like feel the urge to. I go
Yeah.
out whenever friends invite sometimes, but if I'm like really focused on a task or I try, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But so like, do you have a plan on how, or is it just kind of like work a lot, get a lot of money,
Uh,
and buy property and learn how to like manage property?
well, plan is to graduate nursing school, get a specialty, or like go into a nursing field that like can give you a higher income than just like a regular nurse, which in this case would probably be like nurse practitioner, or CRNA, which is a nurse anesthetist, which is kind of like you're an anesthesiologist assistant, but it's still a really big role. You can earn up to 200K in a year, but again, that's like kind of like the outlier. That's like the high range. You would, I guess, it will be like between 100K to like 200K depending on where you're working. And then but before I would do that because also school costs money. But like once I get a stable income, I'll just probably get like a financial advisor because my family, we have a family friend who does that kind of. So like he handles our stocks, he handles our like insurance, like money matters basically, and
Let's say you
we get up
inherited.
with him. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Let's
Yeah,
say
fine.
you, because I just thought of something. Shit, sorry. Okay, you finish. If you had
But
more,
that's the plan. That's the plan. Finish school, get a high paying job, further my education as much as I need to, get a financial advisor. He will help advise me on like housing stuff. Or not housing, but like property, any other passive incomes I can probably make. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So if you inherited like let's say 100K right now,
Uh-huh.
you would be like, shit. I'm gonna hire a financial advisor.
Probably, yeah. If I had 100K, then yeah, I would do that. I'll be like, find me a house. I'll be a land. Not I'll be a landlady, but I will. There are certain things that you can do. You can find a third party to rent out that home for you.
There's property
Yeah,
managers, I believe,
yeah.
is
That's
the
what they are. Property
you
managers.
would have to hire a property manager.
Yeah, and then I can just get passive income and like maybe check in with them like once in a while.
I don't know what all goes into it, but I don't think is that easy. Because well, I mean, with the 100K example, no, but maybe like a million, a few million, you could do
Yeah.
that. I wonder. I'm gonna Google how much it costs to hire.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have someone in the chair.
Yeah, yeah. We need we need a fact checker on the side.
Let me turn on more lights real quick.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, like, definitely, I would have to like look into it a little bit more. But the plan is to get whoever is available to help me get to my goal. Yeah. But that's what property managers are for. They are supposed to do most of the work for you.
I asked Marley this, um, but how does it feel knowing that no matter what you do, you're gonna be a millionaire? No matter what you do, like your parents are gonna pass away eventually, and like you'll inherit the money.
How's it feel?
So like, and you'll split it between like however they split their will, sure. But like, how does it feel knowing that like you'll be like set fairly, no matter what?
I just
Have you ever thought about that?
no, not really. Because I also don't want to get too comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to know that I'll have it, but if I have it, that means they're dead.
Right.
So it's like, why?
Like we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, yeah. But if I have that money, it's like, I want to be able to, like I mentioned earlier, like give them the money. And I mean, at this point, I'm also really not thinking about like a family or like kids. I know I'll have it in the future, like I plan to. So maybe my outlook on that will change, but just being able to have money, I just feel like comforted. Like I know it's secured.
would you change career paths if you had $1 million right now?
$1 million right now?
Mm-hmm. Or 100K, whatever.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
What about
I just,
5 million?
I just won't even know like what else I would do.
So let's say you invested it, and because that 5 million gets a 7%, let's say, I think the math is like you get. Oh God, this is. I think I did the math on like if you get a 5%, like you get 5% just cash back because your money's in stocks,
Uh-huh.
called dividends. I feel I'm gonna butcher this, but I think I did the math on 1.5 mil, and it was like making 55K just free. And if so, double that, 3 mil, 100K, 110K. Uh, so let's say you get like a free 150K a year just
Mm-hmm.
by doing nothing, just by having your money sit.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be changing my job though.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I
That's what I'm.
wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't change my path. I would probably just get that financial advisor sooner because I don't have the necessary knowledge right now to buy stocks like individually
So
myself.
yeah,
I
that's what
need
I'm saying.
advice. Yeah.
Your financial advisor already put your money away, and you're getting a free 150K a
Oh,
year,
oh,
so you don't
oh.
have to work.
I I would not feel right not working.
Well, would you do the same work line of work, or would you try
Oh.
like auditioning again? Would you try something else?
Um. mm, hmm. Oh my god, I don't know. I actually think I wouldn't. I would probably work less, but I would still do the same job because I actually do want to finish nursing school
Yeah.
and like further my education in that field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll ever go back to like acting as a career. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Would
I
it
would want to go through that.
is it safe to say that you realize that's not actually what you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also I feel like I've oh man, I feel so bad if any of our like any of our theater teachers saw this.
I think it'd be fine
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, they're kind of like parents. I want to say, I want to believe that they
Mhm.
want like us to do what we what fulfills us, what we want to do.
Mhm. Mhm. But I also think I feel like they might feel a little sad and disappointed because I really was into it at one point. I really wanted to make it a
You think
career.
so? You think they'd feel sad and disappointed?
Yeah.
Why?
Like if Neil ever saw this, it would be like, why do you give it up? Kind of a deal. Um, because I
Hmm.
felt like there were a lot of theater teachers that believed in me. Um, and I even had a heart to heart with one of them once at like a theater camp. And I was
Hmm.
like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job like acting. Like when I see myself on the screen, like because we did like a little like exercise where we recorded ourselves doing a monologue and stuff. And he's like, just like he cornered me outside of a bathroom too. And he was like, I just don't like that you feel that way about yourself. Like I think you're a great actor. Like you do a good job, but like you need to stop thinking about yourself in that way. And it was just
Mm.
like, man, somebody actually really believed in me when I didn't. And then now I'm like giving it up and it feels like I man, all their efforts on me are wasted kind of a deal.
No,
Uh
that's valid to feel. I will
yeah.
like absolutely,
Mhm.
because yeah, I think that like what you said, where the work that you put in that
Mhm.
made you the person you are now, like I don't think your efforts are wasted in that regard, because all the skills you learned, you're kind of still applying them, but just not in the way that they might have thought you were, like auditioning and stuff. And you still have a craving for creativity, and your
Mhm.
outlets are helping with that voiceover project, and helping me with like the spider band stuff.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't think they would think you're a failure, but I mean, ultimately we're not
Yeah.
them.
I don't know if they think that I'm like a failure. That's a really strong word. They'll probably just be like, upset that I just didn't. I went on a different path, I guess.
Did they have a clear, like, hey, like we think you're gonna go through, like, the acting
Yeah, I've had
path?
like multiple instructors and professors tell me that, like, I think you may have actually a really good shot at this, if you kept at it. And because now a lot of shows are like gunning for minority roles, like
Mm-hmm.
it would be easier for me to get like an agent. I would be sought after. But then the reality is also like, even though now I have like a higher chance of getting cast because they want minorities, it's still a very highly saturated field. Um, and you still have to work like extra hard, deal with all of the rejection for auditions and stuff. So that kind of like turned me off in the regard, so I wouldn't go back to acting as a full-time career.
Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I want to say that they'll be almost happy because it sounds like you'd be kind of miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really the main thing. I'm just like, because even it's hard to get into the industry, and it's even harder to stay in the industry. Like, what would I be doing when I'm 50 years old? Like, still acting? I just don't see myself doing that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's there can only be one Michelle Yeoh. uh, it yeah. Any like illusions or any visions of me being an actor, having fame and all that, I feel like right now is just more of a fantasy than like an actual achievable dream. Not
Do you,
because it's not unattainable, it's just because
mhm.
I'm not striving towards that anymore.
Eventually, do you still want some type of fame?
Yeah.
I think you do.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like some other people too that like didn't even get a chance to try acting, try anything that could possibly give them, some sort of like fame. Um yeah.
And now we have like different levels of fame where like you could be TikTok, YouTube, content creator famous and
Mhm.
all of that. And so like that begs the question like what is fame? And like what level of fame do you want?
Yeah, like a strong C list.
Yeah. Do you want people to recognize you on the street?
Like 2 out of 100 people recognize me on the street. Like real niche. Like
Is that what you really want or do you want to be like the center of attention?
like what like on a level of fame as like a streamer possibly. Like not anywhere near like Taylor Swift
Do you
fame
like being the
or
center of attention?
yeah, depending on the day.
Yeah.
Depending on the day.
Say yeah, I do. If I does that feel good to like admitting it? Like cuz
Yeah, I mean I don't
right. It feels like freeing. I was watching a show called Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell, and she has a podcast on the show, and she goes like, um, yeah, isn't it like she's like really boastful and says like I love it. Like, oh, what do you like about the show? What do you like? And then another character goes like, you're doing it again. You're being the center of attention. And she's like, yeah, I love it. I want it. And then the person she was talking to was like, I kind of like it too. She's like, yeah, doesn't that feel good admitting it? And so I told I told Marley because she was like, I need validation. I want to I want attention too. And I was like, didn't it feel good like admitting that? She's like, yeah.
I know, it's like taboo to say that you want to be famous,
Is it?
you know?
I could see
Yeah,
like
yeah.
socially it being like, oh wow, you want to be famous, but I guess that kind
Yeah.
of begs the question like, how much of people's opinion do you like do you feel? Oh God, what am I asking? How much do you care about what people think?
Mm,
Can you handle the fame?
somewhat. That's why I don't want to be super famous.
Hmm.
Because when you're too famous then everybody has an opinion. But if you are only slightly famous, then you have less hate comments, maybe, hopefully. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I will not be able, I don't know, until I like experience it. I feel like I would not be able to handle it at the beginning, but it just takes practice. You just like start tuning out all the negative comments, and once you find confidence in yourself, then you'll be able to handle it more. But again, why would I put myself through that
Here's a question for
mental
you.
stress?
How do you define your own how do you define happiness?
How do I define happiness?
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? One, okay, two-parter. One, what do you how what makes yeah, how would you define happiness and what it is to you? It's subjective, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's definition might be a little different. And then two, do you think that's what life's about?
I can answer the second one easier. Yeah, I think it's okay. Well, it's not all about your ultimate life goal being happy.
Right.
I think there's so many other things, but being happy is definitely high up on the list. Um, and being happy to me is like feeling fulfilled at a certain point in your life. Like you can want things, you can need things, but you're not like very saddened or like feeling like you. I don't know. This is a hard question.
It is
You're
a tough
feeling,
question. It is a tough
yeah,
question. So you know, you're giving grace by myself and the audience. Like this is a tough, and you can answer, and it's not going to be the answer.
yeah.
It's just it tells me about you a bit, right? Because when you
Mm-hmm.
said like like that's like a goal of yours. Do you think my follow up was on that was do you think when you like making it is you waking up you like going throughout every day and you just feel happy throughout all the day every time
Oh no, I'm
no,
not
right?
like I'm not. There's some days where I wake up and I'm like, gosh, what am I doing with my life? Why haven't I made $1 million at 23?
Because the way I would define happiness, or not even define happiness, but the way that I think what I think life is about is all of the moments, the happy moments, the sad moments, the crying, the pain, getting over it, becoming, learning from the pain and from experiences. I think all of that is life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the goal. Do I believe that? I was gonna say, I don't know if the goal is to be happy, because I'd like to feel content and wake up like feeling nice and present, and I'd like to feel gratitude and feeling like that's how I perceive happiness. Like feeling like, oh man, I feel really grateful for like where I am in life, and I think I should be doing that more. Um, so, I think I stumped myself there.
What's happiness to you, though?
How do I define happiness?
Yeah.
I think it's that feeling of gratitude, presence, thankful, and looking back and looking at your life and being like yeah, this is nice. This is
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm. Like you could die in that moment and be like, you know what? Sorry, we're talking a lot about death, but it's like to quantify happiness, you're looking back at your life, so you'd be you'd be satisfied with where you are in that point.
I felt like you just judged yourself for bringing up death again. I didn't even think about.
Oh, you snickered. You just like
Oh,
laughed, and I was like,
I
oh,
laughed because I thought it was funny. Like it came out of nowhere, but I didn't think it was a bad thing.
like, could you like? Okay, because again, going back to nursing, because it's practically my life now. Because we learn about like our roommate just yelled. um, we learn about like different stages of grief, and like the different stages in people's lives, and the final part when you're like on your deathbed is like, do you feel like you've achieved something, or do you feel like you're not you didn't amount to anything? And so
Mm.
yeah, like I think a person who is happy would be at that deathbed moment, depending on whatever age they are, and be like, you know what, I'm okay with like what happened with my
I
life.
think Denzel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I interpreted it, or the way I listened to that, made me think of a video of Denzel Washington talking about this notion
Mm-hmm.
that at the end of your deathbed, there's gonna be ghosts that
Mm-hmm.
that are saying like, this is what you didn't do, this is what you could have done, this is what. And if you don't have any ghosts, or if you have very little, like no, I did everything I wanted to do. I
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing I regret. There's nothing I. Is that what you're talking about a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah, yeah. Like even though I'm, let's say my life is cut short, like 20, 30 years old, I'm way not done with whatever I want to do with my life. But I'm still like, I kind of already started it, like started the process. It's just unfortunately it got cut off in the middle, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll at least be happy that I got to do some of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to describe. I'm not crying every day, so I'm happy.
It makes me, yeah. The,
That's not a good quantifier, but yeah, yeah. I just feel
you're content to where
satisfied.
you
I'm
are now,
content. Yeah,
and if you died, knock on wood, if you died, you'd feel like, I was living my life in the way where I wanted to.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's that's kind of how I kind of want to live my life too. Am trying to strive to live my life too. Like if I die tomorrow, not too extreme, but like if I die tomorrow, like am I satisfied with the amount of work, and like did I tell my parents, like did I check in with my parents this week? Did I tell them I love them?
Mhm.
Did I work hard, and did I work in a way where I didn't care what people thought? Cuz I'm try as humans, we kind of want to like um assimilate a bit, like we don't want to be too much of an outlier. It feels nice to be kind of comfy with each other, and we don't
Mhm.
want to be ostracized. um but we also, I think, shouldn't live for other people, like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna get judged because my neighbor or my friend is gonna I don't want to post this content because I'm gonna feel like I feel so weird or awkward. I don't, and people are gonna judge me. Like if that's what's stopping you, I think I would have like a ghost at the end of my bed. I would have regrets, because then I wouldn't feel like I'm living my best life, because I'm not doing the things
Mm.
because people are. I'm fearful of judgment. I'm fearful of what people think,
Mhm.
and that's not how I want to. That's not how I want to live my life, and I want to encourage other people to do the same, because it's crummy. Like going off of what other people's opinions are, and like in a few generations, their opinions, like they're gonna die too. In a few
Yeah.
generations, both of y'all might not matter, and like
Yeah.
all of it is gonna be for naught. So why not live your life how you want it to, how you want it to?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as you don't like hurt anyone, as
Yeah.
abide
Yeah.
by the social.
We talk a lot about this in my ethics class. Um. Yeah, dude. We're watching The Good Place right now, so there's a
Mhm.
lot of ethical dilemmas, a lot of principles, and one of them is like, is the right thing to do what makes you happy? And I forgot which philosopher talked about this. I'm sure you can Google it and
I'll tell you
fact
my
check
answer if
it.
you want to tell you, if you tell me yours.
What? Do you know it? Like the name
No,
of the philosopher?
I don't know the philosopher,
Oh.
but I was just gonna answer the question.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's wrong. Well, okay, not there's you can't really say what's right or wrong, but people are saying that's not a good way to live because like the people of what makes you happy could not make somebody else happy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, kicking puppies makes you happy, but obviously not for most of the population.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just not a good quantifier of how do you decide between what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's a notion of like everyone should do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting
exactly.
people, as
Yeah.
long as they're not hurting themselves or other people or putting other people down. There's not hate, and I agree with that. But then you get into like, okay, well, what like define what hurting people is, define what hate is, define what bad is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like then it's a little subjective, and I guess that's why we have laws and why we have
Yeah.
social standards
Yeah.
and that
And then it goes into like, oh, okay, but what if this one thing makes like 90% of the people happy, but 10% is upset? Do we still do the
utilitarianism.
thing? Huh? Is it
I think it's utilitarianism.
utilitarianism?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, ethics, there's no right answer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's a good thing to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
You said
Happiness.
I'm gonna stretch my legs. Feel free to
Oh
stretch
yeah,
yours.
I'm like cramping.
Yeah. You mentioned oh, what was I gonna add? Should you do stuff to make that make you happy if it's to make other people happy? Yeah, I think we answered that. No. I was gonna add. I remember what I was gonna add. Um. So there was a point where I was like, I'm gonna follow what feels good, and so I'm gonna play games and I'm gonna make friendships and I'm gonna like work if I want to, and work enough to like live. And then like today, I feel like going out. I feel like doing this. I feel like going out to a park, and then I think I'm. I think the point of what I was trying to say is there's a point to where you have to realize like with growing older comes responsibilities, and you're not always going to be happy all the time, and that's okay. Like
Yeah.
you're older, you're an adult, you can get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I don't know why I wanted to add that. Maybe that was forced.
You're trying to tell yourself something here?
Shoot. I think it reminded me of something I heard and I wanted to add that, but yeah.
Oh, there's one thing I wanted to revisit.
Yeah.
Something I want to ask you. We've had this conversation before where you were talking about wanting to give your 100% in everything you do to reach your dream. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do like 70%. And you're like,
Oh.
no, why aren't you giving your 100%?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still believe in that?
Fuck yeah. I think people should give their all in anything they do. And what I mean by that is, so there's a few things I think of when I say that. One is like at the end of the day, if you like exhaust yourself, or I guess okay, I'm gonna kind of go on a tangent and I'm gonna try to like work my way to the
Okay.
answer. So I think about working out and working your and like when you work out, you don't just kind of like half-ass it. You're like, okay, I kind of lifted some weights. I feel a little sore. Like when you want to like build muscle, when you want to really, it's a little bit of parallel. When you want to build muscle, if you want to gain traction in your life, you want to like take the extra, like do the extra rep. You want to push yourself to like muscle exhaustion, and I think in life you kind of have to do that a little bit too. Like if you're like, I did fine today, and this is just me because I'll get to that. I guess I'll say, because so like I think there are days where you do need to go hard like that. Excuse me. And there's also days where you need to have rest and take care of yourself. Because if you're always going that 100, you're right. I think it did shift a little bit to where you're always going that 100, you're gonna burn out and you're not gonna want to do anything. I've been there, and I'm like, I don't even want to get out of bed. And that's where I started like, okay, let's just do one little thing at a time to get myself kind of like the ball rolling. And I think it was around COVID when I was like going really hard every day, and then it just all stopped, and I was like, oh, this feels nice. Oh, I can relax. I can sleep.
Yeah, you can breathe.
I can breathe. And I think, honestly, I think I was heading towards a destructive path before COVID because I was working myself to the bone. I was
Mm-hmm.
not allowing myself to work on myself. I was just working to work and work, and because that's what I needed to succeed. I needed to just work and hustle and grind and work out and audition and do that and I was just it wasn't healthy. So I do so I think to answer your question, I do think there needs to be days where you go 100, where you go all out, where you give your 110%. And but if you do that every single time, like go to where you feel good, and every person is different because people's energy levels is right. Yeah, people have different back problems, whatever. People have back problems. People struggle with different
Mm-hmm.
things, and so everyone has their own process. But as long as you feel like you like okay, I'm taking this time to rest, and I'm going to take this time to freaking rest, and then tomorrow I'm gonna hit it hard again. I'm gonna set a goal and do it. And even if it's a small goal, I think that's still, and I'm coming up with this now. I think that that's still doing your best that you can at that moment. Because if you're feeling fatigued and like if that's all you can give at that moment, then I think there should be you should give yourself a little grace. Because it's so easy for me to say like, yeah, give it your all every day, and then like, how long can that last?
Mm-hmm.
4 days, a week, a month?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because there might be a time where you will feel like you burn out, and that's what you have to kind of discover on your own.
Yeah. And that's why I feel is like also really unfortunate with the entertainment industry. If you're trying to like make it, you really can't afford to not give your 100% because like you missing that one audition, it could be like the one that you got, like, and you're gonna beat yourself up afterwards. I'm like, man, I'm gonna
Right.
give like 100%, and it's like it's not sustainable.
And then that begs the question, like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
That's why I feel like your teachers would be okay with you, because
Oh.
I don't think you actually gave up. I think you shifted. Now
Mm.
that I'm talking to you about it, about this in depthly, I think they would be like, oh, she could be miserable. That's not what she wanted to do. We want Sarah to be happy and be content and love life and not want to like feel shitty every day.
Mm-hmm. This is so funny. I'm like, damn, acting's hard. I'm gonna be a doctor.
Like that's really
It's fucking Asian of me. I've always told my parents because I was like I beat myself up more than I thought they would when I told them that I wanted to do theater because it's so out of pocket and it's not like any other Asian kid to say, you know?
Mhm.
I was like so nervous telling them. I'm like I like cried telling them like, "Hey, I actually want to try giving acting a go." And they're like, "What? Like, why are you crying? We'll support you in what you want to do." And in fact, it was my dad's dream to also be like a singer, be an entertainer. Basically, he likes attention, and so he's like, "Oh, you got to carry on the dream for me." And so now I've given up on two dreams. I've given up on him and mine.
Oh
But no,
shit.
the funny that was really a dark joke. It's fine. It's fine. He's also proud of me now because he
There's
works
truth
in
in comedy.
but he works in healthcare, so now he's also proud of me becoming a nurse. So it's starting two dreams.
I
Um,
hate believing this, but I think our parents would be proud of us in like whatever we do. I think they
yeah,
just want us to be happy.
my they did also mention this. Yeah, they just really want me to be happy, and in fact, they're really happy that I'm happy right now too. Um, but where was I getting at? We're talking about what was I talking about?
You were mentioning
Oh,
how
oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Me. No, actually, I lost it. What were we talking about?
I believe you were talking about happiness and your dad's happiness, and before that, talking about dreams and your teacher and our teacher, your teacher's like feeling.
Oh yeah, no. Bottom line, I'm just really, really tickled. Oh, yeah. I remember now because I told my parents that I wanted to be an actor, and I felt kind of ashamed about that. But I made peace about it. We joked about it, and I'm like, well, I can always act like I'm a doctor. I can get a role as a doctor or something medical, and here I am going back to becoming a woman in STEM. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't. This doesn't really matter to me much, but I'm like, oh, we need more Asian representation in media, and I'm the one that's like perpetuating the stereotype of going back to do something that's not entertainment related and just being like that Asian kid that does medicine.
You could look at it like that,
I
or you could look at it as Sarah, the individual, shifting, pivoting, and like you just happen to be Asian.
I just haven't. I was born the wrong ethnicity.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
I totally
I'm happy with how my life is turning out, where it's going right now. Yeah, I think I made the best decision that I could in the moment. I don't regret anything. I'm still working through certain like feelings of like sunk cost. You know?
and I would still fight you on that. It's not a sunk cost because one, it got you to the place you are now,
Yeah.
but two, like there's a saying that the work works on you more than you do the work. So like the work that you put into acting, like that made you have discipline, that made you focus on your breathing, that made you know
Mhm.
your body
Mhm.
and mind, and so it shaped you a little bit. And so the work worked on you more than you worked on the work, or at least the same amount. And
Mhm.
so I don't think it's sunk because it was an investment in yourself in a way.
True. I
But I
kind of
totally
contradicted
resonate.
myself there.
Hmm?
Oh no, no, I was like kind of contradicting myself there. I'm like, I'm at peace, but I still think of it as like a little bit of a sunk cost.
Yeah,
But
and
I
that's
should,
fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Cuz I totally get that. When I was when I kind of like came back from COVID and stopped acting and doing all of that, I was also like, oh, man, like what am I doing? Like I did all this work in college and my
Mm-hmm.
parents like were like talking about, like yeah, my son's like an actor, and the cousin like the aunts and my tias would be like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck? Where did that come from?" And it'd be like an interesting funny thing she could say, and then like I did feel a little like down and depressed. I'm like, oh, like I don't know if this is gonna work, and like I felt like giving up on their dreams too in a way. Um, but I kind of came back around to it because after I like hermited and I like to say I cocooned because I was
Mm-hmm.
hibernating and working on myself and thinking things through and
Mm-hmm.
taking a hard look at my life and like what direction it was going. Um, and yeah, I was like working myself to the bone to like where it was negatively impacting my health and mental health. And so finally got a therapist for the first time in my life in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And so we worked a lot together. You know this
Mm-hmm.
because you were with me.
Yeah.
Not like
Not in
physically,
2020. Yeah, no,
but
but
like you
I was
you were
aware.
aware, you were my friend, and you were part of my support system, one of my only support systems at the time, and you kind of helped me get through the thick of it. So you have like a really warm, special place in my heart, and you will always have that, I think. Um, we were talking earlier about like you're like, oh man, like if I'm not paying my bills, oh god, I'll like sleep on someone's couch or like be homeless. I was like, no. In my mind, I don't think I said it out loud. I was like, I would never let you go homeless. Like you either crash at my parents, you crash with me, whatever we figure it out. Um, because you're one of the friends that is actually a friend, a like really close friend, and I try not to use that title lightly because you really only have you're one of the handful of friends that like I can call to, I can turn to, and like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., like if you're up or you know, like, or like if it's an
Degen
emergency,
hours.
yeah, if it's an emergency, you would do it, and like no questions asked, like yeah, and that's like far and few in between. What's that saying? Few and far
Few
between.
and far between. Yeah.
And there's something so special about that, and that's like something that just doesn't happen within like a year or two. Like
Mm.
it happens with like strife, with struggle, with kind of like yeah. I was going through the thick of it, and you were like, I'm gonna still be your friend, and that like kind of shook my world in a really positive way. Okay. All right. So we fucked up. Our audio got cut off and our footage got cut off. Hers a little sooner than mine. So we're gonna add in a little bit of our own little B-roll, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's not gonna match up the lips, and it's gonna be fine. Hope you can forgive
Yeah,
us.
it's not a dumpster fire.
It's not a dumpster
It's
fire.
not a dumpster fire.
No.
No, we're it's good. It's good. It's fine.
All right. So we're gonna cut to that.
You didn't just trauma bond.
Were you going through trauma at the time too?
No, just you. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, no, I feel the same way about you. I mean,
Wait,
like,
wait. What does that mean, trauma bond?
trauma like
Or
when you and somebody else like go through the same trauma and then you just
oh
end up like bonding over
nah,
that.
you didn't go through stuff.
No, I didn't. I meant like a one-sided trauma bond.
Oh,
I
bond
just
because
happened to be there when you were going through something, and
but like that's the thing, right? Like you were there and other people weren't. So in a way, I mean, I wouldn't label it trauma, but I wouldn't label it trauma bond, but it you were there, and it wasn't just
yeah,
you.
and I stayed. I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and like because of that, right? You were genuine. You did it out of like love, right? Like as in like not as in like I care for this person.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like no, not everyone has that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like thankful. I'm like I'm thankful for having that, because now you and my like two close buds, and like there's really just a handful of people that like are like kind of like my ride or die. And there's a few that like I could call up, and it's like, oh man, like it feels like we like there's like no time that passed in between.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember my friend Jessica, who I think is gonna be in the next episode. Uh, said her call like absolutely shook my world too. I remember this. She told me like, hey, grab a blanket, and I like, okay, and she was like, put it around you, and she was like, okay, now squeeze, and that's me giving you a hug, and I just want to tell you this, Daniel. What she told me at the time, whatever you're going through will not change my opinion of how I cherish and love and think about you, because I know deep down like this is who you are. I don't want to talk to her about that. But like having that kind of unconditional love and support is insane, especially when you're going through shit.
Was that the 2020?
Yeah.
When
Mm.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough year, man.
Rough year.
Yeah.
Rough year.
Well, you were also there for me when I was hospitalized and my whole family wasn't here.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I really, really appreciated that. I mean, I could have gone through it alone, but it was nice to have like even the tiny things you did. Like you just drove me home, drove me to the ER and everything, and like
Made
brought
sure
me
you
food, made
stayed her through
sure.
the hospital
Yeah, yeah,
lobby, and yeah.
yeah. And even when I got that LASIK treatment and my ass was burning. Yeah, no, you held my hand and you like walked me through the parking lot and everything, and I'm like, it's nice to have somebody to like rely on and can like be there. Yeah, so
Mhm. I don't think I felt the impact that I had on you until Auntie Christy, your mom, was like,
give you money. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
she gave me money on this little like envelope, and she was like, thank you for looking out for my daughter, thank you, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry, like She cried.
She gave him a red packet. This
Oh,
for yeah that
that's what it's
that's
called.
the
That's right.
significance of it. Yeah, yeah. No, it's just like a symbol of like, hey, I like you. Take my money.
Thank you
Kind
for
of a
taking
deal.
care of my daughter. She was like,
Yeah.
thank you. And I was like, oh my god. I feel like wow. Did I really have that impact? I guess I. Huh. I don't.
Yeah.
I was just doing what like a good friend would do, or what I thought a good friend would do. And I don't think, God, I judge myself so harshly because sometimes I'm like, I'm not that good of a person. I'm not that good of a friend. And maybe I need to have a little more grace on myself there. But
Mm.
sometimes I feel like I'm like, I feel shitty. I feel.
But no, going back to like dreams and stuff, when I told you that I was gonna pursue nursing instead, and you're like, what happened to your dream? Like we talked about this before. Like you wanted to like really be an actor and like achieve all these things, be in movies, and then when all that happened, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna like straight up pursue that full time and maybe just do some creative things on the side. Like you were almost to the point uncomfortably like adamant about me not giving it up. Like, and I mean this in like not like a bad way, but you're like I don't know. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. You're like gaslighting me back into like my dream. You're like, no, you haven't given up on it. No, you really haven't. And I'm like, no, I think I have. And you're like, no, you haven't. Um, and I'm like, no, no friend or no person would really do that because most people would just be like, okay, I respect your decision, but you really, I felt like you were so upset for me.
It came from a place of like oh hell no, like if she needs that person to like tell her she can make it, I'm gonna be that person. And how like, but if she truly like doesn't want this, then of course. But oh god, at the time I showed you a video and you're like, oh my god, why are you giving me an existential crisis? Do you remember that video?
I think
It was
so.
like a lifetime like or
I don't remember the content of the video, but I remember you sending me something. It was something related to
I'm gonna try
like,
to find it. I'm gonna go back to our DMs and try to
yeah,
find it.
something related to like reaching your full potential in life or whatever. And that was when we were talking about me not giving my 100% because I
Mm.
don't want to burn myself out. I'm probably gonna give like 80% in everything that I do. Um, but yeah, no, you went through a phase. I mean, you probably still are. You're just not sending me the videos, but it's a lot of like life advice and like self-improvement things. And I think I was just like not ready to really take it in. But I mean, you got the message. You got the message in the end. But no, I really, really appreciated you doing that though. I just wasn't receptive at the time.
I want all my friends to level up. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
I do it
yeah.
to a fault, perhaps, but I do like sending a bunch of like self help and motivational and
Uh-huh.
like yeah, those kinds of videos. And I think w- this is my thing. What do you mean when you say I'm only gonna give my 70? It feels like it sounds like you're lazy, but you're not lazy. Sarah Lim, you're not a lazy person. I like someone going through freaking med school and working, like you have a lot of stuff going on and like gaming on the side and playing D&D and like you're not a lazy freaking person. And so like I don't think like I just a big part of me doesn't believe that you're half-assing it. When I hear you're like, "Oh, I'm only going to give 75." So what the heck do you mean by that?
I mean, I guess my standard of like 100% is like really like locking in and like zoning in and do something until I am physically and mentally exhausted. That's what I consider 100%.
Mm.
But like with acting, because we were talking about that, I guess in that context.
Mhm.
Can't really remember.
Yeah, becoming a star, becoming famous, becoming an actor or
Yeah.
mhm.
Uh, I think I just like didn't fully like believe that I was gonna make it. I don't. Why are we? I remember I had a really convincing argument about it, and then I just lost it. Um, yeah, I don't know why, but I mean, I don't want to give my 100% like all of the time. I think we're kind of on the same page on that now. Like, obviously, put in effort, but if you're on 100% like all the time, you're just only gonna get burnt out. And I do what I need to meet maybe like I don't want to be perfect, but if we're talking about it in like terms of like percentage, maybe I'll just get like a 95 or something.
Do you feel like sometimes you give 100 and then like do you feel like sometimes you give that 95 or 100 and like make it feels like a sprint to me. Do you think
Yeah.
that you do that sometimes, or do you think you're like, no, I kind of just chill and I never feel stressed?
Yeah, I yeah, no, I'm more chill. I've only probably felt stressed few like really stressed a few times in my life. Um
And now I'm kind of second guessing myself. Like, what if your 85% is my 100, and like your definition of 100 is different?
yeah.
And then like, what if you are giving your 100? And I guess when I say giving your 100%, it means like trying hard and trying the best you can. Do you feel like, because when she studies for tests, like sometimes she's like, okay, don't bother me for 4 hours. I need to focus on this, and I want to make a good. I want to make an A. I want to do really good. I want to study and I want like I feel like that's giving 100.
During that 4 hours, like one of them I'm on social media.
That's fine, but like you still managed to make like
I do. I still manage to make like the grade that I want. Um I think in the context when I was like saying that I don't want to give 100%, I think no, yeah, no. I think what made you really like the pushback, you like the counter argument you gave me was because I said I didn't want to give 100% because like what if I give 100% and I still fail or something along those lines? Do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah. You were like some something along the lines of, because what if I give it my all and then I still fail? I'll feel really shitty.
Yeah.
I'll feel like I feel dumb. Something like that kind of.
Yeah, like I'll feel like I went through life doing what I wanted and it would be so upsetting when I didn't achieve what I wanted even though I did my best.
And I think that the thing I got so upset at was because I guess that's my belief. Hopefully, I wasn't imparting it on you, but I was thinking if she tries her hardest and gives it her all, like, yeah, it'll suck if she doesn't make it, but at least she'll be able to tell herself, like, I tried really hard. And at the end of the day, I could tell myself, I gave it my all and I tried. And if it still didn't make it, then all right, I could tell, like, I packed it up and, but like, but like, what if you looked back and only gave 70% and then we're like, maybe I could have made it if I give that extra 30. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give it your all, you'll know for certain. And that's, I think, what I had the problem with. Like,
Right, yeah.
mm,
No, for me it was a lot of like what ifs. You know, we don't know for certain. But it's also like what if I gave my 100% and didn't achieve it? But then you're like, but what if you did 100% for certain? You would know that you did all you could and not achieve it. But then I'm like, well, what's the point of going 100% then? Or something. I don't know. It was, but now I think after having this conversation, at that time we didn't agree on it, is
mhm.
because we were talking about it in like lifetime time frame. But now you talked about like, okay, giving 100% for maybe like 5 to 10 years, which seems more acceptable to me
Mhm.
because then you know that you tried for certain
Mhm.
and it didn't succeed, but at least you tried.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's more like realistic, you know, uh, for you to give your 100%. Because I would agree with that. Like, give your 100%, but only for a short time, and then like do whatever else you want after. Like 100% to like chase your dreams is what I'm
So
saying.
so that this makes me think of a story. There was a a lady who I think it was like 60 or 80, and all she wanted to do was be an author. So she wrote for hours every day, and wrote and wrote and wrote. Um, and and when she turned, I forgot if it was 60 or 80. She someone like a publisher picked her up, and immediately 3 bestsellers.
Is it J.K. Rowling?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But maybe. But like immediately, like 3 bestsellers, and like so, what it like that makes me reevaluate my own thing of like, damn, is 10 years too little? Like, how much do I really want this? And
Mm-hmm.
how you it's fine if you, yeah. And how much do you, um there you
Sorry, my
go.
heel's digging into your shin.
So like in my eyes, I'm like, shit, she really, really wanted it, and she literally never gave up. Because maybe she believed in herself, or maybe that's just what she liked. This is like I'm just gonna keep doing this, and
Yeah.
if at the end of my life it still doesn't work out, at least like I wrote a lot and I feel good. But what if she gave up, right?
Yeah.
Would she like in her death, they'd be like, damn, what if? So now I'm reevaluating, like, is 10 years too short? I don't know, and I don't know. I think I don't want to. It might be good to put a timeline, like, okay, by 3 years I want to have a level of success. I want to show some progress,
Mm-hmm.
and I think already I am. Um, and that kind of motivates me to go even further, to go further beyond. Um, so like I don't know, maybe just not giving up is the play. Maybe I'll just keep going until I want to shift, until I'm like, I'm kind of tired of this.
Yeah.
I want to have a life and kids and family, and and maybe they can coincide, but maybe like I want to split up my time. I want to like do other things, and that's just, then that goes into like, okay, how are you putting your time in balance?
Yeah.
But like I think ultimately I don't think I'm ever gonna give up in being some type of creator or some type of entertainer, because I think I'm built for that, and then and it brings me joy, and it brings me happiness, and I love like bringing joy to others and helping people smile and become better people. And so I don't think I'll ever stop doing some type of thing in that. And so I'm just, the goal, the 10-year success is me being financially free. Like, I somehow made this a career, whether it's content, whether it's giving speeches, or whatever, getting paid to do that, and then being set in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't think there's like a set path, a set thing, a set timeline. This is like what you have to do every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
There might be guidelines, but I don't think that's gonna work for everyone.
Yeah. And also, to play devil's advocate, not all dreams are created equal, right? I think
Mm,
like that writer, you could totally write while having your full-time job and everything. Like it's not as taxing as, for example, auditioning, having to spend your time driving places.
mm-hmm,
If you're doing in-person auditions, you get to sit at home and like still take care of your kids while, typing up a manuscript.
mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, if you want to chase your dreams, like definitely go for it, but also got to think about it realistically because you need to make sure you're still able to live and like survive. And are you okay with surviving that way? Like living frugally
Mm-hmm.
while trying to chase your dreams. And for some other people, like their dream is like being a pilot and just go to pilot school. Yeah, there's like that pathway. Especially in academics, it's usually a little easier, but especially for the dream of like becoming an actor, it's
What if it's someone's dream to stay at home and not work? Like, how the heck do you achieve that?
they
Get
gotta go marry a rich person, I
Yeah,
guess. Go, hey, sugar babies work hard.
yeah, yeah.
Sugar,
You're taking care of the family. You're taking care of the house. Like,
yeah. No, no, no. I know someone who is a sugar baby. It's a full time job, man.
really?
Yeah. No, she has like Google, like, or like, not an Excel sheet of like her her sugar mommies, her sugar daddies,
Oh my god.
when they're coming into town, what they like how they dress. So it's a business. Like she
Okay, now you're towards the end, and like we said,
we fucked up.
we fucked up, and the footage got messed up. So, we're just gonna do a quick little outro to thank you guys and maybe do a little plugs. Okay, so I quickly want to say thank you to Auntie Christy and Uncle Joe
Oh.
for this wonderful daughter that you have. She is such a great friend, such a wonderful person, and I'm grateful for her in my life. And I'll hand it over to you now.
Oh man, I'd like to thank the Academy. No.
Do an Oscar selfie.
Yeah, Oscar
No.
selfie. Oh my gosh, it was so long ago. That's just not. It's not cool.
Oh my
It's
god,
not
I'm
fetch
so
anymore.
chronically offline.
Ugh. Okay. Anyway.
Anyways.
You're showing your age, Daniel.
29.
The, he's cool. Yeah. No. I have fun. Chatting with you. Basically, hope you had fun watching
Her
us
energy
as
is
well.
totally giving me yeah,
Yeah, stay humble.
Stay humble.
But yeah, no. I think you also have great parents. They make great food, and you got raised
Oh my gosh.
right.
Do the thing that you said in Spanish last time.
Oh,
You were like muchas
gracias para tu hijo. Y él es mucho simpático y a mí
amable.
amable.
Oh my god.
Sí. Es muy divertido.
All right. Is there anything that you want to plug?
His channel. Is it this channel that we're posting it on, or
Yeah.
a different one? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you're already here, so just see what other videos he's got. The
Yeah.
Spider-Man series.
Tune in. There's gonna be another episode coming in soon, if not after, or if not slightly before. Go watch that. The whole series is pretty awesome. And yeah.
Yeah, it's not a long watch either. So
And she
you
did
don't
a
have
bunch
an
of the camera
excuse.
work.
Yeah. I shot stuff through a camera. So yeah,
She's a little too modest. She made it look pretty good with like the different transitions. She fed me energy. It was like yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun collaborative stuff work. So go watch it if you can.
Yeah. All right. Bye guys. Thank you for sticking to the end if you did. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.